So this week we are at lesson 5 of Hebrews. One more week to go. And today we're going to be finishing chapter 12. So let's take a look at, of course, I'm going to want to review a little bit and put us back into context without just jumping into chapter 12, verses 18 to 29.
Right.
Okay, so let's just think back, because we always want to connect the whole message together. So if we think back again to chapter 11, we know what that chapter is about, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Faith.
Faith.
Faith,
Faith.
yes. Faith, yes. Faith. All of those people who lived by faith and endured and were commended by God for their faith. So then we come to chapter 12, which starts with therefore, because we are surrounded by such a cloud of witnesses. We find the beginning of chapter 12 here. Here we go. That we are to run the race. Remember, we've talked about the race for the last couple of weeks. I want you to keep thinking in the context of a race, because all of this is going to make more sense if we can picture that we're running a race. And again, the race, when does the race begin for us?
When you accept Christ.
Right, when we accept Christ. So that is the first day of our race. So, and for me, that was August 2nd, 1984. So I have been running for 42 years.
Wow.
So Blythe, tell Jack that I've been running for 42 years. Okay.
He's got
Running
a little
for
catching up
42
to
years.
do.
Yeah, right. So we know it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in that running for my last 42 years, do you think there have been some issues, some problems, some obstacles?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So that kind of race, there's always going to be things that hold us back, things that slow us down. We've talked about that. He says in 12 to get rid of everything that will hinder you from running and
Right.
just run. So I've been running 42 years. There have been issues, but I have to endure. Okay. I've sat down yesterday and thought, okay, what is this picture for me to put all of this together? Okay. So I'm running the race. I have to endure to cross the finish line. Okay. The finish line is
Heaven.
Heaven.
heaven. Absolutely. So he says to run with endurance because heaven is our prize. That's the finish line. So you run, so get up and just run and keep your eyes fixed where?
On the
Jesus.
prize.
Right.
Yes, on Jesus. Okay. So I'm running and not fixing my eyes on Jesus, and he's the author and perfecter of our faith. Okay. So now, where is he right now?
In heaven at the right
In
side of God.
Exactly. So he has finished the race and he is sitting at the right hand of God. And then what is the subject that we saw in chapter 12 that
Discipline.
yes, thank you.
Discipline.
Discipline. So there he is sitting in heaven, looking down, and he is going to help us run the race. Okay. And how is he going to do that? Discipline.
Yes.
We talked about discipline, and discipline being training. Okay. And what is the result of the discipline?
It makes us stronger. It makes us endure more.
Right. We're going to be stronger. We're going to be able to endure. We're going to be able to run further. Okay. And it says, and when you have been trained by it, then you have the peaceful fruit of righteousness. Okay. So all of the training and the discipline is for our righteousness and our holiness, so that we can cross the finish line and receive our inheritance and enter into heaven, right? So he's our cheerleader. He's sitting up there, he's the trainer, and he's telling us, do this, don't do this. Keep your eyes fixed, run straight. You can do it. You can do it. Remember that clip that we saw from the Boston Marathon?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. There was not one person that could say, no, I don't remember that. Okay. I remember it. But remember the lady on the sidelines that we could not see, and she was yelling.
Cheering
What
him
was she?
on, encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah. She was screaming, you can do it.
Mhm.
You can do it. Stand up. You can do it. And I feel like that's people around us helping us do that. And that's Jesus. And he's sitting at the right hand of God saying, you can do this. You've got it. I'm helping you. Just keep your eyes fixed on me. So that's my picture of how this affects me and how I can put this all together with the race concept. Okay. So let's keep thinking about the race because we're running that race. And we've talked about this. And when we get to verse 18, 18, say, keep running. Think about this. Keep running. Why? Why? Because we're going to compare now. What are we comparing?
The
In
old and
verse,
the new, the two mountains.
yes, the old and the new. So I want you to look at your chart on page 22, page 22.
Yep.
Look at that chart. Okay. Making charts is really helpful because it helps just we see everything just spelled out there and we can compare. So let's talk about what was it like when God spoke to the people of Israel from that mountain, Mount Sinai?
A blazing fire, darkness, gloom, tempest, the voice sound of a trumpet, and the hearers beg not to hear it anymore.
Not
Very,
allowed to approach
very
at
sad.
all.
Yeah,
What's that,
Yes.
Mark? Mark, can
No.
you repeat that?
Not allowed to approach the mountain at all for fear
Right.
of death.
Yeah,
Totally
great.
sealed off.
Okay. And
Untouchable. Untouchable.
untouchable.
And there was fear and
Untouchable.
trembling.
Okay.
And the
It was
threat
all
of death.
about it. Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
Oh, and there was a threat of death.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about the law and exclusions, keeping people away from the mountain.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think about that picture when you process that?
It's not
What
a
does that
mountain
look like?
I'd want to go to.
Well,
People
for
can only
me,
approach.
go ahead.
Okay, Mark.
People can only approach God through the priest.
And Moses.
Mm-hmm. Yvonne?
When I think about it, I think it was unapproachable and very fearful. They had to be afraid, and whatever Moses told them, they said, "Well, you talk to him for us, because we don't want to have nothing to do with that kind of God." It was very frightening for him.
Any ideas about why that might have been? What would be the point of it being frightening?
I think it was because that let you know that God was not on the level of anybody. And so if the way he did it, let everybody know this is not just ordinary. This is somebody that he's not like anybody else. So we gotta respect him and reverence him because he is an awesome God. That's how I think.
In my opinion, God was putting fear and trembling into them to have them reverence him, to have them want to be obedient to him. It was a fear. And we are supposed to fear God in a godly way, reverence. It's not a fear that we a fear of trembling like they did at Mount Sinai. But I think he was trying to draw them to him, but it did not succeed.
Okay, let's think about when this happened in their history. So here they are at Mount Sinai. Okay, let's think about when this happened in their history. They have just
came out
come.
of Egypt,
Yes.
and they saw worshiping of other gods, and they had not experienced anything like they're experiencing now.
Right.
Yes. So he has brought them out, and how long were they there?
40 years.
They were in the wilderness 40 years.
Not the wilderness, in Egypt.
In Egypt,
Oh, 400
400.
400
30.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they have been in Egypt with other gods
Yes.
for 400 years. Okay. And now he's brought them out and he has to show them who he is. Right? He has to get them to understand who he is so that they can trust him. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And what if you saw in Exodus 20, verse 20, what does it say in there about this experience?
They didn't want to hear him speak anymore, as I think somebody else, Yvonne said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They begged Moses to be the spokesman because they were so terrified by the elements.
Well, and this is where it comes out that God had come to the mountain to test them, that the fear of him may be before you, that you may not sin.
Okay, so there's the reason. There's the reason. They have to know how serious it is that they respect him and listen to him so that they will not sin. So that they will not sin. Okay. These are the beginnings of their history as the children of coming back and representing God to the world. So if he is so powerful, they would remember that and they should have respect and listen to him so that they will not sin.
These were not a holy people yet either. So part of it, I think, is God just does not, he won't tolerate unholiness. You know, so don't even come close. You're not really ready to approach me. And I think it kind of reflects how serious he does take sin.
I agree.
Yeah. And the fact that they're saying to Moses, you talk to him.
Yeah.
You talk to him. We don't want to. Okay. So now what is the relationship between Moses and the people because of what they've seen?
That's where he becomes the mediator.
And you think that they will listen then to Moses?
No.
Well, we know they don't, but this would be designed to show them, so that they would listen to Moses because they would know that Moses is hearing from God.
Right. So
that should develop that relationship too, so the people would trust Moses and Moses would hear from God, and then he would transfer that message to them. But it's always good, to put things in the context. Like I'm always talking about context, but it helps you understand more when you understand these people. This is 3 months out of Egypt after 400 years. So sure, God has got to make an impression. He has got to show himself so powerful that they will listen.
You would have thought an impression would have been made in the first time in their lives they've ever seen a God really do something.
Yeah.
Because those wood idols and stone thingamajiggers, they didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yet he parted the Red Sea so they could walk through
Right.
and to escape. And then many of them saw God close the Red Sea on the Egyptians. I mean, that you would think that that would have made a lasting impression on how powerful he was.
Mhm. But again, that's all true. All the plagues. Moses was the one who, with his rod, Moses was the one who made the plagues happen.
Right.
Right? Okay, God told him to do this, and Moses did that. All the plagues happened, and then the people were set free. Now they're in the wilderness. And now the difference here is they saw all that, but they actually saw Moses do it. Right?
Yeah.
But now they hear God speak.
Mhm.
They hear his voice. They see the mountain shaking. They see the smoke. And now, oh, here's the boss. Yeah. So there's the difference. So they have seen a lot and now they have heard God.
Right.
Now they should be all set. But we know that's not going to happen. Right? But God has done this to keep them from sinning. Okay? I love that. He's like, he's testing you so that you will not sin. There's the heart of God. So that's what happened at Mount Sinai. Okay. Any other observations about that, about what you saw at Mount Sinai?
Well, it's also where you got the law.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
And so,
Once he got their attention,
mhm.
then he gave them the law. This is how you're supposed to live. How does Deuteronomy chapter 4 on page 23, how does Deuteronomy chapter 4 relate to Exodus and Hebrews?
Told them not to create any idols.
Mm-hmm. And who are we talking to in Deuteronomy?
The Israelites.
Yeah.
The
God's
Israelites,
people.
but
Yes.
sorry,
Sorry.
Patricia?
Oh, well, just God's people, yeah, the Israelites. But presumably, by the time Moses is preaching this in Deuteronomy, the people who were disobedient are done in the desert. So it
Right.
should be the new generation, perhaps.
Right, right. So Deuteronomy is the new generation that is about to cross into the promised land. Okay. So Moses is giving them, reminding them about what happened at Mount Horeb, what happened at Mount Sinai, and reminding them that they should not make idols and worship idols. So that's the second generation. It's the same illustration of Mount Sinai. It's the same warning to the second generation that they need to not worship idols and listen to God, be obedient. So this is 40 years after Mount Sinai, when they've wandered in the wilderness 40 years and they're about to go in. And the covenant is renewed and all of the laws are given to the second generation before they go in. But again, the warning, do not make idols. Do not worship anyone but God. In verse 25 of Hebrews, what is the warning? This is the last warning in the book. What is the warning?
Would you repeat the question, Linda?
Sorry?
What chapter 12?
Chapter 12, verse 25.
It says, see that you do not refuse him who is speaking, for if they do not escape when they refuse him who warned them on earth, much less will we escape if we reject him who warns from heaven.
Right. So talking about the people in the under the old covenant, it says when they refused him, they did not escape consequences. Right. So he says, much less than would we escape if they didn't, if they disobeyed the law, the 10 Commandments, all of that, and paid the consequences. What makes us think that we would escape?
It's more serious for us
Yes. Why do you say that, Mary?
because we have Jesus
Mm-hmm.
and we
Yeah.
know, so it's way more serious. That really spoke to me.
Yeah. We talked about this in a previous lesson too, about how much more serious is it if you reject the Son of God. Much more serious. This is his son. This is his blood. If this isn't good enough for you, then there really is nothing else. Rejecting the law was bad, but rejecting the Son of God is worse. Is worse. So he says, listen to him. Listen to him. Did we see that term listen to him previously in Hebrews?
Yes.
Anybody remember where?
I'm thinking chapter 1.
I'm thinking you could be right. Way back there in chapter 1. So he's introducing that, in the past, God spoke through the prophets, but now he speaks through his son. Listen to him. And that was the beginning of everything for us. Like, he's better than this. He's better than this. He's better than this. It's a better covenant. It's a better blood, better than the angels. Listen to him. Listen to him. Okay. Because we are not standing at Mount Sinai. What mountain have we come to? Go back to your chart.
Mount Zion.
Okay. Mount Zion. Okay. What do we learn about this mountain, Mount Zion?
City of the living God.
What's your big picture understanding of Mount Zion versus Mount Sinai?
It's the heavenly Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm. Heavenly Jerusalem.
And everybody's worshiping all over the place.
And you have
All over the place.
light instead of darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else about that mountain?
Jesus is the mediator of the new covenant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And God is still the judge of all.
right.
And it's a fest. Yeah.
Okay, Jim, go ahead.
I was saying, with Mount Zion, God is approachable, whereas
Mhm.
Mount Sinai, he was not really.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mount Sinai, they were pushed away. Don't come near. Big consequences. Mount Zion. What does Hebrews say? Because the curtain tore.
Yeah.
Draw near.
Somewhere
Draw near.
festive. It was festive gathering. Somewhere I read that.
Yeah. Innumerable angels in festive gathering.
Yeah, verse
Right.
22.
Yeah. This is the mountain we're running towards.
Yeah.
Running towards. Okay, just keep running towards Mount Zion. I don't know about you, but when I read those verses, when I just read those verses 18 through 24,
Mhm.
I just had a different feeling. There was a feeling of heaviness reading about Mount Sinai. And then all of a sudden there was just joy, and I felt, oh,
Yeah.
this is awesome. Right. Just the
Yep.
change in that,
It's all
being
about
afraid to
grace.
approach and now being rejoicing and praising,
Yeah.
totally approachable. Any other comparison about the two?
Where the spirits of the righteous are made perfect when Jesus is the mediator.
Mm.
And everything is beautiful, not compared to Mount Sinai. It was dark and gloomy, and it was just depressing. But everything was beautiful and gold and all kinds of. I couldn't pronounce some of them, but it was good.
Yeah. Right,
Diamond
right,
emerald.
right.
Well, at Mount Sinai, people definitely were not holy. We're still not holy, but we do inherit Jesus' holiness by accepting him.
Mm. Yeah.
Mount Sinai was a death threat, and Mount Zion is a life promised.
Oh, that's great.
Love it.
That's great. Yeah. And that takes us back to when we studied the old covenant and the new covenant. When the old covenant under the law could not bring you life. Okay. It could not cleanse your conscience. Okay. Remember, the blood of bulls and goats cannot ever cleanse your conscience. Old covenant. New covenant, the blood of Jesus gives you a new heart. And it's life. It's life. I like that, Mary. It's life. It's life. And so run towards that. Run towards Mount Zion. Okay, let's look at verses 26 and 27. So now what are we learning about these mountains?
They both shook.
Okay.
The earth shook.
Okay. So what is this about the shaking?
Indicates the removal of things that are shaken, that is, things that have been made, in order that things that cannot be shaken may remain. Verse 27.
Okay. What do you understand about that?
I think it means that everything that is not good will be done away with, and only the true things will remain.
What did he quotes Haggai. He quotes Haggai verse 2, chapter 2,
5 to 9.
5 through 9.
5 through 9.
Mm-hmm.
So the writer of Hebrews is quoting what Haggai said. And what did he say? Let me find that for you.
And chapter 2.
Verse 6. I will shake the heavens, the earth, the sea, and the dry land.
Yeah, on page 24. So how does what Haggai, that prophecy, correspond with what he's saying in Hebrews about Mount Zion? See, it says 26, I'm sorry, it says in 26, at that time, at Mount Sinai, his voice shook the earth. Those people saw that shake the earth, the cloud, the fire, heard the voice. at that time. But now he has promised, yet once more, I will shake not only the earth,
But the heavens.
but also the heavens. So this phrase, yet once more, indicates the removal of things that are shaken, that is, things that have been made, in order that the things that cannot be shaken may remain. May remain. Okay, so we're looking future here, right?
Yes.
Okay, what did you learn about this in Revelation? I'm sorry,
21.
Yes, Revelation
1
21.
22:5.
21, on page 24 again.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you learn about after the shaking? What happens?
Only the pure will remain.
Mhm.
Okay, guy.
A new heaven and a new earth.
Okay, who said new heaven and new earth?
Yeah.
Yeah. A new heaven and a new earth. Does it happen before or after the shaking?
Yeah.
Is it after?
That was my question. I asked the question first.
It's after.
I don't know about the others, but I didn't find this easy. But it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but there's a new heaven and a new earth. Then let's think about it. It would have to be after the shaking. Because what's going to happen in the shaking?
That's the removal.
The removal of anything that cannot be shaken, everything that can be shaken, sorry, which leaves only
unshakable.
I'm trying to think of that song, The Unshakable Kingdom. But so once he shakes again, the final shaking, everything that can be shaken will be, and only things that cannot be shaken will be left. So the things that cannot be shaken would be the new heaven and the new earth, and the eternal things. Eternal things. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, you did it. You did it. Okay. So, so the things he says, listen to him because this is what's going to happen. We've come to Mount Zion, which is eternal. And if you're not part of that Mount Zion, then it's all going to be shaken. But that's not us. He says, you come to Mount Zion. Okay? You believers, you, because of your acceptance of the message of the cross of Jesus, our high priest, of Jesus who died for us with his blood, you have come to Mount Zion. That's what we're running towards. And that's what will remain. The heavenly, new heaven, new earth. I see heads shaking. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. You know, I think about this when I see pictures of like earthquakes. And I see that shaking and everything that just crumbles. And that is so powerful, but not as powerful as this shaking will be. But that gives you a picture. It gives you a picture of that shaking. All the created things that can be shaken will be removed. And only that which cannot be shaken, which would be eternal things, will remain. So that's our new home. That's our new home. So if you have that certainty of what's going to happen, then that should encourage you to run. That should encourage you. Everybody in chapter 11 ran. They endured. Jesus endured. we can do it too. He's sitting at the right hand of God, telling us, do this, don't do this. Keep your eyes fixed on me. Listen to my voice. Come this way. Come to Mount Zion. Come to Mount Zion. And how does this chapter end? What does verse 28 say? What does it start with?
Our response, therefore,
Yes.
our
Yes.
response is gratitude. Be grateful for the kingdom that cannot be shaken, and worship with reverence and awe.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, if we understand that we're part of that kingdom that cannot be shaken, therefore,
Yeah.
therefore, that's why I love the therefores. Therefore, be grateful. Be grateful. What might that look like, being grateful? How do we show gratitude?
Obedience.
Yeah.
And then you appreciate. It doesn't have to be large things, but appreciate all the little things that God gives us each and every day. You know, we always think about, you know, it got to be big, but even when you think about the air you breathe, you don't think about breathing, you just breathe. I mean, we got to be grateful for everything.
And if you don't like housework, you be grateful that you have a house to clean.
That's right.
Oh.
It helps me.
Oh. Well, that's going to change things for me. Oh. Oh, thanks, Patricia.
Does that mean I gotta be grateful for having weeds to pull?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Right. You know, this might be getting out of control. Right. Okay, let's go back to verse 28 though and look at be grateful.
Because
And
we
thus
are
let us
receiving
offer to
the
God.
kingdom.
Yeah. Be grateful that we're receiving that. And what does it say about and let us offer to God acceptable worship with what?
Reverence.
Yeah.
Reverence and awe. Does that not remind you of the mountain?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
With a twist. I mean, we're doing it with reverence and awe instead of fear and loathing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Totally different.
Yeah. Those are two great words, reverence and awe. We revere God and we are in awe of all of this and what he has given us. So we're grateful. We worship him with reverence and awe.
It's a pretty thin line that separates reverence and fear.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, you know, fear is a word. Again, it's one of those English words that we think, I'm scared, you know, I'm afraid of you. When really it's, I respect you so much. Yeah.
That's the godly fear.
Right. I was in Colorado a few years ago with a group of girls on the river rafting. And our guide, she asked me a question. She said she was studying and it talked about fearing God. And she wanted to know what that meant, you know, to be afraid of him. And I'm like, no, it just means you respect him, just like you respect this river. Okay?
Right.
You are a guide on this river, but you have great respect for the power of this river. And that's what we're saying. You respect God for who he is and for what he does. So that's not, I'm afraid of you, God, but I respect you. I have reverence and awe of you. And that's how we show our gratitude. Again, it comes from understanding that we will have a Mount Zion that cannot be shaken. That's what we're running towards. From the cross to Mount Zion. That's the race. Any other observations about chapter 12? We're just going to dip into 13 just for a few minutes. Any thoughts about how the race affects you, or what you might think about running this race? Can you finish it? How can you finish it?
My notes in my Bible, when you said, you could go to other sources and look. And so I read down there, and one of the things that took me back to was Matthew, what was it? Matthew 5 or 7, Matthew 7, where they're talking about the house on the rock and the house on the sand. And I never looked at the house on the rock. I kind of look at all of this as a contrast of the old and new covenant. And so I put notes in my Bible when I went back and read this. Oh, the rock is the new covenant, and the sand is if you're holding, because the Jews were, they were in danger of slipping back to that. And if you're on the sand, if you're on the old covenant, when the shaking comes, you're not going to withstand.
True. Yeah, that's really a good principle to think about when you read scripture. Is it's always old and new covenant. So you can always draw those conclusions. It's like that was then, this is now. This is better. Yeah.
One of the things I gather as reading through a lot of these chapters is we have everything we need for the race, but it's up to us whether we're going to use it. So when I'm having my moments where I'm not so, I feel like I'm getting really weak, I can go back to the word and get that strength I need to be able to keep me going.
Excellent. Okay, chapter 11 people, then how do we fit into that when Yvonne is feeling like she can't make it? Okay.
Have her reach out, just say, I need a prayer. We don't need to know why.
Mm-hmm.
I need encouragement, whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our role. That's our role. Again, going back to that Boston Marathon clip. We're the people who pick the guy up off the ground and help him get across. That's what chapter 12 says. Make sure that no one, verse 15, see to it that no one fails to obtain the grace of God. Everybody has to cross the finish line. So we're all chapter 11 people here.
Yeah, chapter
cloud
11,
of witnesses.
like you said. Faith
Can you
in God
repeat that?
keeps his promises, and he's promised.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. So our choice is we believe him or we don't. But Hebrews says a couple times, listen to him. Listen to him. We're not running towards Mount Sinai. We're running towards Mount Zion. Okay. So we have to help each other.
Every Thursday morning, every Thursday night, each one of you are in my prayers.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
good to know. Thank you. Yeah. This is really a good group, and we can support each other outside of this class. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Whoops, I'm
I
looking
may
at
not
my
know
watch.
everybody's name, just to make sure you understand that. I just don't remember
Okay.
faces and names coming up on my thing, so.
Okay.
Faces will do.
Yeah. God sees the screen. You see the screen. You know who you're praying for. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So chapter 13 we're going to look at next week. But was there anything in chapter 13 that just stood out to you? What's it about? How was it different, maybe?
It seemed to me that it starts with lots of instructions plus some lovely promises all thrown in.
Yes.
I mean, as a generalization.
Yeah. And that's just, that's good. The generalization of what this chapter is about. This is the end of the book, and he's just encouraging people in different respects.
I saw a list. There's quite a list.
There you go. Thank you. The list.
I think verse 6 answers our question about how do we finish the race?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there it is. I love that. We can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Finish the race.
And then Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. He changes
And
not.
forever. And forever. Verse 14 talks about we seek the city that is to come.
Yeah.
That's that Mount Zion. So next week we're going to dive into that chapter and finish. We're going to finish the race next week. Well, not the race. Okay, the course. The course. We got to keep running. Yeah.
Is that a prediction?
Yes, we would keep running, but we'll finish Hebrews next week. So, so this week, our takeaway: run towards Mount Zion. Run towards Mount Zion, and take everybody with you. So Blythe Jack can come along. Yeah. Run and take everyone with you.
All right.